and welcome to Transform Your Opportunity into Five-Figure Magic. Dear Magic Opportunity Community. The reason for my recording here is actually that I messed up the recording of our Masterclass. I was supposed to record it and it didn't record, so sorry for that. Advantage being that I'm going to repeat the keys of our workshop now with this video, which is going to be a bit shorter than an hour, but I'm going to make sure that you get all the key essences as an essence from what we spoke about. So in case you missed it, you actually missed the live workshop. This is going to be a wrap up. As of tomorrow, we will have live recordings. We figured it out. As for the first day today, thank you very much for all the ones who attended. This is a nice repetition for you. And for the ones who haven't managed to attend, this should be a good essence for you to get into the game. As we are speaking about unlocking business opportunities today, mainly by cultivating internal clarity, resilience, and intentions. These are going to help you convert opportunities into five-figure deals. So let me quickly introduce myself again. I did that in the live workshop. I'm repeating it here. I'm Peggy. My name is Peggy Pleines. I have been an entrepreneur since 20 years. I founded my first company 20 years ago. That's My Ladybird. And this is why you kept receiving emails from My Ladybird. I have been doing a lot of very different things, and I have enjoyed the journey greatly. I keep reinventing myself, and as I reinvent myself, I reinvent my business. I have had the opportunity to learn from great leaders, great clients, fantastic opportunities, and I have been very grateful for this process and very grateful for what it taught me. And I hope to share some of those teachings with you and some of those learnings with you, as this will definitely create a shortcut for you in finding opportunities anywhere. A few months ago, I felt called to do a summit, and I actually interviewed six in the end we showed, fabulous leaders in the space of creating opportunities and how to find them anywhere. All 7 of them had fantastic approaches, which are all very different, but in essence, they all agreed about one thing, and I'm in 100% agreement with that. It's actually, as opportunities seem to have this touch of being an external thing, actually, it really depends on internal clarity. If you're able to A, see it, and B, create actually tangible results out of those opportunities. So while opportunities often seem external, like market trends, network, luck, pure luck, a lot of people say it's pure luck, true business growth begins with internal clarity and resilience. And there's no way around both of those, in my opinion, if you want to have a long-term success. Resilience being one of the key parts, as resilience will create a good platform for resourcefulness as well. We're going to get into that a bit later. So it's not only the foundation to recognize opportunities, but also the foundation to convert them into tangible, high-value outcomes, such as five-figure deals. The key to converting opportunities into significant deals is aligning external opportunities with your internal clarity while maintaining resilience in order to navigate those challenges, which are definitely coming. Then watch out to actually focus on intentions rather than rigid expectations, as that plays a critical role in this process. I will get into that a bit later. It is really important to me that we kind of look into a myth, which is external only opportunities. And that is a myth, because typically you can see with a lot of very successful entrepreneurs that they were chasing, no external circumstances. They were actually chasing to make their internal vision, their internal values, to make them express in the outside world, be expressed in the outside world. So rather than chasing those external circumstances, we have to cultivate inner readiness. That is really key. And we're going to talk more about that today. Now, I want to share some real world examples of what I'm actually meaning, and I think it would become really clear to you. So look at Steve Jobs, right? This is like the traditional example, but I do love to use it as everybody can relate to it. Maybe some of you have read his book, and whoever read his book, actually chose a journey which was full of hurdles, full of challenges, and he kind of proved over and over again that there were two things mainly driving him, and that was his internal clarity, meaning he had a very clear vision, and he, come hell or high water, made that happen. And he pushed through. What that means, he had massive resilience. He had so many obstacles thrown in his way, and he still made it happen. And look what he did. He created a vision where he basically asked himself, why do we still need a Walkman? Some of you will remember that. We had those Walkmans with actually cassette tapes. I don't think a lot of you will remember, but they were those things. Then for the more progressive people, we had some Walkmans with CDs. And we had obviously a camera. I was looking for the word. We had a camera, and we had some type of phone. Luckily enough, by the mid-90s and 90s, we started with those huge mobile phones. They were not so mobile, but they were phones. So we had a phone, we had a camera, and we had a Walkman. Now, Steve Jobs was going, no, let's convert everything into one item. And today we cannot imagine life without a smartphone, especially in the Western world. So look at what happened. So his vision became reality. He pushed massively through. He probably created one of the, if not the most valuable company in the world. And actually, it's very tangible that this vision he had is no longer there. I don't know if you realize, but this definitely the value has changed of that company. Not saying to the worse, and definitely the share price is still doing good. But you can see that the inner world of a leader does create the outer results. Another example is our dear Oprah. Oprah actually came from something which I like to use as an example, because she was actually a woman who built her success purely on intentions, meaning, I'll go into that a bit later, but she built it on an intention to uplift others. So instead of just doing a pretty stale, kind of TV talk show, she was actually having a very clear intention of helping people. And that made her stand out in that world of rather cruel, TV, mostly superficial and cruel TV shows. So empathy and uplifting others were the growth drivers for her. And she actually made a groundbreaking deal and produced her Oprah Winfrey Show. Then the ladies, all the ladies will know Spanx. Sarah Blakely, I really highly recommend to watch a YouTube video. She has multiple interviews out there. And for anybody who intends to become an entrepreneur, becomes as he becomes, right? So this whole session I'm doing here, this masterclass, is about us becoming. Because as we become entrepreneurs, we become something larger than we are today. As we learn, as we become come with another awareness, we are going to grow again larger than we are today. So it's all about growth, guys. And if you listen to that story of Sarah Blakely for Spanx, she had an amazing journey. Again, she wanted to make sure that women fit comfortably and felt comfortably also in tight dresses. And she actually invented this fantastic, figure shaping underwear. Her journey was incredible. It's a journey full of heartfelt heartaches, a journey full of doubt, but still resilience, right? What she showed all this way was resourcefulness and resilience. And she had a very clear intention. She wanted to provide value to her clients. And she did manage. How did she manage? I mean, she built one of the multi-billion-dollar companies as one of the first female entrepreneurs. And she certainly has had a fantastic track record. Why am I giving you those examples? These are great examples because these are people who are creating something based on their inner values, which were basically all circling around their vision for this world. They were able to provide great value. And the other thing is they were driven by intention rather than expectations. I want to really kind of ask you again, always think about what moments you had in your business journey where you had a personal clarity leading you to a breakthrough. It could have been, that you had to drop the ball because you became super clear that this didn't make sense, or that you kind of went, okay, I'm not going to be beat down by this situation. I'm going to pick up I'm going to pick myself up and just make this happen again. And you didn't do it once, you did it twice. And you didn't do it twice, you did it 3 times. Until it worked, it was maybe 6 times you did it, always in a different way. And the 7th time it came through. So very cool. I'm sure you have had that. I think even setbacks, these are setbacks which will teach you to do it another way. A setback never means it doesn't work. A setback just means it doesn't work how you expected, watch the word, expected it to work. So let me just go into something which is very close to my heart, and I have learned that late, but I learned it in my life. So let's look at an intention versus an expectation, okay? So an intention typically is a purposeful, value-driven mindset, which is focused on things you can control. You can control your attitude, your state, your actions. So an intention will guide the process and allow flexibility as to how your outcomes unfold. The intention is clearly set, but it's definitely elements which are in your control, and you're flexible on how the outcome will unfold. That is, for me, a key learning, because on the other side, you have the expectation, and the expectation is always future focused and tied to a very specific outcome, which often leads to frustration when the reality typically doesn't align with those assumptions, right? So basically, an expectation, you expect something to happen a certain way with a certain outcome. And I would say 9 out of 10 times that doesn't happen because it's something that is outside yourself. There is a lot of elements in life which are outside your control. And it's really, really important to have an intention focus on things which you can control, or which you can plan, or which you can influence. So again, an intention is a purposeful and value-driven mindset, right? And that's focused on what you can control. Now, what is it you can control? You can control your actions, you can control your effort, you can control your attitude, and of course you can control your state. I hope everybody knows here how you best control your state. What is the state? The state of your being. So the state of your being you can control in 3 different quick and powerful ways. The first part is you watch your physiology, right? So you remember those power poses, how you right away can change your state. That's one of the, so you do it or you move. Like if you have a difficult negotiation, you start moving. You're stuck in a position at a table, you get up, the whole room shifts, right? So that's a typical movement where how to change your state with your physiology. You can change your state with the language. Now, watch the language. One of my good mentors always tells me, your words are your spells. So the language you use is typically how we feel about things. So be very aware. If you want to make yourself feel better, use a better language. And the third thing is focus. So if something bad happens and you keep focusing on the bad that happened, that's going to eat you up, right? And eating you up will not help you in solving a problem typically. So if you start focusing on potential solutions or in what good might this situation have, the more it can be super difficult, don't get me wrong, but that can change your state immediately. So again, if you want to kind of look at things from the perspective of intentions, setting intentions, you look at things you can control. That's your effort, your state, your attitude, and those intentions are going to guide the process and allow flexibility in how the outcomes unfold. So you're going to be flexible on how the outcomes unfold. When we're talking about expectations, an expectation is typically a future-focused mindset to a specific outcome. So it's often leading to frustration, as reality typically doesn't align with those assumptions, right? You expect things to happen a certain way. You expect things you expect people to behave a certain way. And obviously it's not going to happen that certain way because you're assuming something which is completely outside your control. So the first step of actually getting super clear and of realizing opportunities is work with intentions rather than with expectations. Because the other thing that happens is an expectation is going to dictate you to expect a certain outcome, which comes a certain way, which makes you blind to potentially other things that might be showing up in a very different way. Whereas if you have an intention and you're controlling your current process, your actions and your state, this will open you up to actually allow opportunities not only to enter, but to make them, to convert them into tangible results once you have recognized them. So when leaders operate from intention, they typically communicate their values authentically and are better equipped to connect with those high-value clients, right? You have to be authentic. You have to be able to to communicate your values authentically in order to actually connect with those high-value clients and to align on long-term partnerships, rather than being quick win-driven, which is typically a very, very bad recipe to retain customers in the long run. When you're looking at closing 5-figure deals, that will also require massive resilience. If you use intention, it will keep you focused on delivering value while in a difficult negotiation, even when it becomes challenging. While if you operate out of expectations, this will cause and can cause premature frustration or a compromise, right? So a compromise is not always the right solution. So be very clear that you keep delivering value. Your intention is always on keeping delivering value while you're working on finding a good outcome together with your client, right? So I hope that makes it a bit clearer. An intention, I just mentioned that you're in control of your action and your mindset, right? So that will lead to much more emotional stability as well, because you can kind of regulate your nervous system much better. Whereas an expectation gets your nervous system completely dysregulated, because events and outcomes which hit you externally from your external side will determine your emotional state, and then you're getting into the reaction spiral, and that's typically leading to stress and disappointment, and that's actually when things don't go the way you want them to go. So basically an expectation creates an emotional state for you, which is dysregulating and disempowering. You also typically lose your resourcefulness. So basically you're losing your creativity to actually stay agile in those situations where something happens that you did not expect. So if you want to be able to pivot when necessary, and if your goal is to provide or learn, right, you can adapt. So intention will help you pivot if necessary, and it will provide you the foundation to value or learn from a situation that actually shows up for you. Whereas expectation, when you're focused on a rigid outcome makes it difficult to adjust when things are suddenly changing unexpectedly. So this, I hope I'm drilling this into you, because that for me, and that for a lot of people, has a lot of truth in it. When you're trying to convert those opportunities into 5 figures, stay true to your intention. So stay true to the part of the process which you are able to influence, control, which is yourself. You are not able to control other people. You are not able to control the situation, but you're very able to control yourself. So let me look at my notes. Yes. Okay. Also, typically when you have a clear intention, when you operate with that intention, your decisions and actions are in alignment with your core values, and that leads typically to a deeper fulfillment and also to more authenticity when you work, right? So the intention comes from inside of yourself. So if you're staying true to that, your decisions and actions are aligned, and that will make you show up much more authentically. Typically, the radar of people is good, and they will know if you're acting with authenticity and integrity. So be very aware of that, right? I call it the bullshit meter. So sometimes, your bullshit meter goes off, and our intention is quite right about that. So you will feel if the person across from you is acting with integrity and authenticity, which will be right there aligned with their intention, right? So the intentions they might not align with the intentions you have. So that's something to look into. Now, an expectation, don't get me wrong, can get you a desired outcome as well. But normally you feel disconnected from the process, and it can also happen that it doesn't necessarily align with actually your own values, right? So you might have pushed through your will, you might have come to a conclusion as you wanted it, so as you expected, but it's maybe in complete non-alignment with the values you have, right? That typically happens when when you have a negotiation and you feel that you just walked all over the other person. You might have the outcome of what you wanted to achieve, but you kind of have this bad feeling within yourself that you actually just got it because you tricked the other person into agreement, right? Rather than staying true to your values, which would have been, I want to convince the other person that this value I'm offering, or this service I'm offering, or this product I'm offering is actually right on target for this person. So there is something here to watch out for. Then when you focused on the process, typically, you're also more likely to embrace opportunities and to find them. Why? Because typically opportunities arise unexpectedly. So it's about opening your heart and your mind, and really be in the present. So being in that process where you would say, oh, wow, right? I'm in the middle of doing this, and look what showed up. Right? Could be this magic phone call you'd suddenly get, or you get an email, or you have a contact who connects you with somebody else, and it just shows up. And to recognize this opportunity, you have to be in the present, meaning you are fully aligned with the process you're in, you're fully aligned with your intention, rather than having this very narrow focus on a specific outcome, which is basically incarcerating you into this very, narrow mindset, where you might miss an opportunity like this because you put in your head, this is the way it has to go. No, this is never going to be the way it has to go. Typically, an expectation does not align with what you thought it should be like. So you're bound to be disappointed with an expectation. I would like to ask you to make an exercise for yourself because it's a healthy one. Whilst I'm preaching, right? Well, how's the saying go? Preaching water and drinking wine. Well, this is, I don't want to do that. And I have to be super honest. We are all not free of this part of, we're expecting things. We're expecting things from people. We're expecting things, how situations should come out every day. It happens every day. So do the following. It helps me, so I'm sure it will help you. Like, catch yourself, right? Look at what did you expect? So why do you feel grotty about something? Typically it happens because something didn't pan out the way you expected it to pan out, or the person didn't react you wanted them to react. Try to convert these expectations into intentions and try again, right? Focus on the value and the process. The value creation and the process. Focus on the value creation and the process with anything you do. And that means in communication as well, right? So it's very different if you're trying to communicate a value than if you are communicating in a way where you expect to get something out of the other person. So catch yourself. Look into what you're doing and try to cultivate intention within yourself, and try to figure out when you do this loop in terms of, oh, here I'm actually acting based on an expectation rather than an intention. Okay, so we had this great masterclass today. I'm sorry I didn't record it, but we had this really interesting lady who asked this question about the next point, and the next point is cultivating internal clarity. So internal clarity is something that is super important because only if we have internal clarity, we are able to understand where our strengths and also our weaknesses lie. So sometimes I have mentees who I coach and mentor. I like to use the word mentor because most of them are senior people or entrepreneurs, and they have great ways to succeed, right? So all they need is some mentoring around maybe some items where they get stuck from time to time, don't we all? And I do have mentors, have had mentors, and have mentors all my life, and I'm very grateful about that. So basically, cultivating internal clarity is around what are your strengths, but also what are the things you don't want to do, what are the things you don't want to do anymore, and what are also the things you can't do. Now, I made that example before. Basically, I've had a client who says, oh, actually, I'm not sure I can do anything. And some people will get stuck like that, right? They have achieved a lot in their life. But also this person, fantastic person, great achiever, he doesn't see it, right? He doesn't see himself that way. So what I typically do then, or what's helpful maybe for all of you, is to get some internal clarity, is to write down what is actually not working for me, what don't I want to do anymore. There's lots of things we don't want to do. And through that exercise, you will figure out the other side, meaning you will figure out what you like to do, right? Which is typically the contrary of what you don't want to do. So just a little trick. So cultivate that internal clarity. It is really, really important. And why am I saying that? Because I don't want you to become a manager of your circumstances. You should be the architect of your life's experience. So, and becoming the architect of your life's experience means you have to understand your abilities. You have to understand your limitations, and only that way you can actually build on your strength and find opportunities to even out basically your weaknesses. We all have them, but there is great help out there. I mean, you can have a mentor, you can have a lunch with people who are much more successful than you, or much smarter. You can have what else can you do? You can read books. So you can have a training on things you're not good at. You can have an assistant who's doing the technical stuff you don't want to do, or you did before, or you can't do. There's so many so many methods. But the first thing is to get really, really clear, what are my strengths and where can I really create massive value for other people? And that's going to be one of the items we are going to cover in our workshop tomorrow, where we basically are working on your value proposition. So that's an important one. Now, talking about cultivating internal clarity, I would like to talk to you about some means you can use to actually accelerate that internal clarity of yours. And there are a few things you can do, of course. I personally like to align I like to check in if my business energy aligns with whatever opportunity I'm seeing. So my 3 business pillars, energetic business pillars, are joy, prosperity, and magic. And anything that comes up in terms of opportunities in services or also products I might want to get out there and bring out there and support, I always check in if those 3 boxes are ticked, right? So does it bring me joy? Is there prosperity for my client as well as for me? And does it bear some magic? Because I'm a very big believer in that there always needs to be room for magic, as this is typically the very interesting part where beauty happens, right? Where there's more than revenue, there's more than profit, there's either a fantastic learning or you're connecting to people who you would never want to miss anymore in your life. So that's basically my process. In parallel, obviously mindfulness and or meditation is fantastic. It needs discipline. It's like your daily sports. It's like your daily workout. It's just a workout for the soul. So take those 10-15 minutes for a good meditation. I personally love TM meditation. I've learned that years ago. And that did help me over some very big challenges in business, but also in life. And it helped me by creating this clarity I was talking about for the last felt 3 minutes. So daily journaling is another way. EFT, so tapping, could be very, very helpful. Or for the more left brain people or fans of left brain measures, some vision mapping. You know it as there's vision and there's mind mapping, where you can regularly revisit and align your business vision with upcoming opportunities. So you can basically create a vision map and see if it aligns, if an opportunity does align with that vision or not. So please remember, cultivating that clarity is going to support your resilience for whatever comes, because then you're really crystal clear on what you want and what needs to happen for you. As we slowly wrap up, I want to give you one exercise which could be really, really helpful to kind of think about for you in the future. So is there any upcoming business opportunity for you at the moment which could lead to a 5-figure deal, right? If the answer is yes, then have you checked if it's aligned, if this opportunity is aligned with your core values, or if this approach will be driven by intention versus expectation? So this is something to check in on a regular basis, because that's going to make sure that you're chasing down the right path and not the wrong path. So that's really something I warmly recommend to you. Has helped me a great deal. It will spare you a lot of heartfelt anger or disappointment. So check if this opportunity is aligned with your values. Check if you're coming from a place of intention or if it's a place of expectation. Expectation has always something to do with fear, as we're typically chasing a time factor, which is in the future, remember. So check in and really start chasing those quality opportunities, as these are the ones who are going to convert into 5-figure magic in the best possible way. So I'll look at my notes here. So clearly, I want to recap one thing. Converting opportunities into 5-figure deals is not only about external market conditions. In the contrary, it's very much about inner alignment. It's about aligning internal clarity and staying resilient and approaching opportunities with intention rather than expectation. So that's basically the recipe. So I suggest, if you want to convert your opportunities into this 5-figure magic, check in if you're clearly, internally clear what you want, if your vision is clear, if you feel resilient, right? Have you put together your resilience strategy? And are you approaching these opportunities with an intention or an expectation? Once you can basically say, yep, check, 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 you can go for it. And I promise you, you'll be seeing great results, independent of the timeline. So stay true to those intentions. Now, whether you do it through journaling or meditation or strategic vision mapping, cultivating that clarity on a daily basis and building this resilience on a daily basis will help you convert more opportunities into high-value outcomes. So I can tell you, this is not a one-time exercise. This is a regular exercise you need to follow through on if you want to make sure that you stay aligned with your true self, and if you want to be resilient to whatever life is going to throw in your way, and if you want to stay open for any opportunity coming your way. So I want you to stay true to your intention, and this is also where we come in with this homework, which I gave everybody for the first day. And in case you shouldn't have done it and you're watching that replay because you missed the first day, sorry, it's not a replay, as we know, it's a wrap up because we messed up the recording today. Just do the following. Clearly set your intention. So what value do you aim to provide with this opportunity you're thinking about? And do focus on the process, not the outcome. So set your intention clearly, create the value you will provide. We are going to create the value proposition tomorrow together. I'm giving you some tricks to do that. And then check in your clarity. Are you clear? Are you internally clear? How does this opportunity align with your long-term business vision and your core values, right? Does this align with your vision? In my case, does it align with my business energy I'm striving to feel and to put into place? You might have another measure, but check in if that is actually in alignment with your long-term business vision and with your core values. The last but not least point of this homework, or if your thought process, should be a resilience strategy. So what potential challenges do you foresee? And now, nota bene, you're not going to see them all. But if you prepare, you'll be better prepared when something hits you, and you're going to be you're going to be much quicker back on your feet. So just make sure that you work on this resilience and keep getting up, right? It's going to work out. You just keep trying another way. If you're aligned, if you can imagine that it becomes real, it will become real. It's just a question of your inner strength, of your resourcefulness, of your clarity, and of the wonderful intention you have with building that business. So I thank you very much. I want to repeat here, if you want to have a 5-figure opportunity call with me, I do those consultations personally, and I will be supporting you in discovering what opportunities that are already worth 5 figures in your world are and how to best leverage them. So book a call with me anytime. 30 minutes are for free to you and to anybody who has participated in this masterclass, and I'm super, super happy to see you soon and to welcome you again. Please let me know what I can do for you and how I can create value. And never forget to leave room for magic. Lots of love, light, and ladybugs.